Hello there, YouTube. My name is now primehgss. Some of you might remember me as HGSS Prime. It's been a very long time since I took a shot at this YouTube, and I just wanted to dive back into it. I miss doing it. I stopped doing it in like I want to say 2015 was around the last time I made videos. But now I want to take another shot at diving back into it. I was very active back in like 2011, 2010, 2012, in the early days of YouTube, but back when there wasn't a lot of competitive content. I've still been around. For those that don't know me, last year I competed in the World Championships in Japan. I actually put forth the effort to earn an invite, traveled to a lot of regionals, and after that I took this year off. The traveling can get kind of strenuous, and I didn't want to. I mainly put forth that effort just because Japan's always been on my bucket list. So I took this year off, but I'm still kind of been around. I've still been playing. I've still been paying attention. I did go to the North American International Championships where I played Raging Bolt. Now, I wanted to play this deck. I've wanted to play Raging Bolts since the card came out. Just hasn't been very good until Ogerpon released. And the very first time I saw a list for this, it was before it had caught on as a top contender in the format. And I was already locked onto playing this deck like from the start. It's not necessarily that I thought it was the best deck. The deck could obviously do very well. It's pretty linear. It's kind of going to do the same thing every game. But I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to play this deck regardless of how I did. I ended up not doing too great. Just some unfortunate matchups. It's kind of hard to metagame a tournament that size. But I didn't really have any problem with the list. The only thing I really didn't like are these. I flip tails a lot. So, I mean, if I flipped heads a lot, I love this card. I flip tails a lot. I kind of hate this card. But other than that, I'm going to go over the list, and then we'll jump into a game with it. So, there's a couple unorthodox things with my list. If you notice, I don't play Bravery Charm. The logic there was that Bravery Charm was kind of dead more often than not. You mill it with Pokestop. And there's a lot in the format right now that can one-shot you. It makes it a little harder for them to one-shot you, but the fact of the matter is they still can. On top of that, most lists are playing either Vacuum, Lugia is playing Jamming Tower. So I felt there was other things I wanted to fit, so I felt like it was very easy to just cut Bravery Charm. So to start with the list, we got 4 Raging Bolt, main attacker of the deck. You don't necessarily want to be Burst Roaring. You kind of want to go second with this deck, get a turn 2 Bellowing Thunder, and just be as aggressive as you possibly can be. Originally, I was playing 3 Ogerpon and one of the Sandy Shocks EX, but you don't, like I said, you kind of just want to be aggressive. You want to get Ogerpons out. You don't want to start Sandy Shocks. Sandy Shocks isn't live until they've already taken a knockout. So, the logic I really liked the idea of Sandy Shocks, but after playing a handful of games where it kind of just did nothing, I decided to cut it for the 4th Ogerpon, because Ogerpon itself is also a very good attacker. We got 1 Iron Bundle. This is probably my favorite card in the game right now. The utility that this card has is, it was unexpected from when this card first got revealed, but it does so much, and it allows you to just keep aggression up, especially if they have something in the active that you just don't want to knock out. Say you get your first turn Bellowing Thunder, but they've got like a Manaphy in the active, and you just rather kill anything else that's on the bench. You can just you can just Hyper Blower, move the Manaphy, which then leaves the Manaphy in play for them, which can be annoying because Manaphy is kind of just useless against you. Radiant Greninja. This is self-explanatory. Just more draw. Your deck wants energy in the discard pile for your energy retrievals to reuse Teal Dance after you've discarded them with the attack, or Professor Sada, the supporter that keeps this deck running. It's your main draw support. It's your main energy acceleration. Oh, I want to say it's tied with Teal Mask. It's like your main energy acceleration. But you want your fightings and your lightnings in the discard pile, because it feels terrible when you, just for the sake of drawing, you have to Sada Grass Energy to your Raging Bolt. Now, Sandy Shocks. This Sandy Shocks is incredible. At first, I didn't really understand what it was so good for, but mainly against Lost Box, it'll take 2 prizes, usually, before going down. Because of its 120 HP, it will survive a hit from a Cramorant. And a 1 prizer that can just trade 1 for 2 is incredible in this format. Magnetic Burst hits 90, so you can also kill Dragcloaks with it. Dragcloaks, Charmander, Pidgeys. It's just a great 1 prizer, and it's also really good to have in the mirror match if you just so happen to go first, because if you can promote this into your active, you force them to move it if they want to take a 2 prize knockout, and if they can't, then you throw off the prize trade, which can swing the matchup back into your favor. So that's why he's great against Gardevoir too, especially because Gardevoir damages. You want 1 prizes, right? There's a lot of great decks in the format that you're just not great against. And then last but not least on the Pokemon, you got Squawkabilly. There's an argument to play 2 of these. This is, you want to squawk almost every game on your first turn. It is very important, and when it's prized, it hurts. So that's why we play the 1 of those. You can try 2. I play Heavy Ball instead. But yeah, this is a great card for the deck. Even Motivate. I've had games where I just motivate to knock out a Drifloon, or a Drifloon, sorry, and get some more energy on board, because Squawkabilly, you don't have a really way to move it from the board. So especially against something like Gardevoir, at least it can take a prize and accelerate energy before they just have an opportunity to knock it out with Scream Tail. So Squawkabilly, great card. And then onto your supporter count, Professor Sada Vitality, the bread and butter of the deck. Pretty much what makes the deck work. You attach 2 energy from your discard pile to your ancient Pokemon, draw 3 cards. Fantastic card. Then 2 bosses. We do play a considerable amount of Gust in this deck, but the Gust isn't always guaranteed. You only get 1 Prime Catcher, and your Pokemon catchers are coin flips. So bosses orders, just great to keep on pressure. And then 1 Iono. Now this was actually not in my NIIC list. I did not play Iono, and I regretted it. I found myself so many times that I needed to be able to keep their hand in check, and sometimes this deck just needs a hand refresh. So I do have it back in now, and I don't think you should be playing it at 2, but 1 has just been phenomenal. Your main draw, or your main search, you got 4 Nest Ball, Heavy Ball in case your Squawk is prized. Everything in the deck can be grabbed with Heavy Ball, so it can kind of act as another just search card if you've prized something. And then 2 Ultra Ball. At first, I wasn't a fan of Ultra Ball on this list, but it is more outs to get Squawkabilly on your first turn, so that's why it's in here. Then moving on, we got 4 Earthen Vessel. This thins all your energy out of the deck. This gets your energy in the discard pile, or helps you get your energy in the discard pile, whether concealed cards. It gets your Teal Masks up and running.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Perfect timing, right? I didn't realize it would show that while I was recording a video. But moving forward, I'm not going to stop the video for that. 4 energy retrieval. Phenomenal card. You discard your grass energy for your attacks. This gets them back. It's essentially a draw 2. This card acts as a draw 2 or a draw 3 if you decide to use concealed cards. You get 2 from Greninja, 1 from a Teal Dance. Phenomenal card. You can try Superior Energy Retrieval. I tried it as a one-of. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but the logic is there because 4 energy gets you a concealed cards, it gets you 2 Teal Dance, and then it gets you an attachment for turn. That's 208, or that's 210, and you've drawn 4 cards. So give that a try if you want. Palpad, I almost want to. This card is incredible in this deck, but 1 has felt just fine. Sometimes you accidentally mill your Sadas off a Pokestop. It just happens, and this is your saving grace because at least Pokestop can get you this. Then for Pokegear, you got to dig for your supporters. You got to hit your Sadas, Boss, Iono. It's just more dig, more consistency. And 2 Switch Cart. 2 I had 3. 2 has felt fine. It helps you pivot and while retaining energy. But also that heal can come up in a lot of scenarios where maybe they're trying to set up damage with Dragapult's Phantom Dive or Sableye Lost Mine. It has saved me a couple times just by that 30. He puts him out of range by like 10 damage. So Switch Cart, phenomenal card. Prime Catcher, arguably the most broken card in the game right now. Switch card, auto switch, auto gust. There's not much more you can say about this. It is the best A spec for any hyper aggressive deck. And then 1 Super Rod, it lets you put energy, like if you have, say all your energy are in the discard pile or on the field, but you have like an Earthen Vessel in your hand, you can put 2 grass into the deck, search them out with Earthen Vessel, and now you draw 2. Also, it lets you reuse Sandy Shocks, which is a big deal. Maybe there's a niche scenario where turn 1 you don't really have much, you Pokestop, you mill Squawkabilly, but you hit a Nest Ball, and you have Super Rod in hand. You can Super Rod the Squawkabilly back, Nest Ball, and then now you're up and going. So Super Rod, great, fantastic card. Lost Vacuum, didn't have this in originally, did play it for NAIC. I was toying around with Jamming Tower, which the idea behind Jamming Tower was that if Gardevoir was only playing 1 stadium, a lot of lists I saw were only playing 1, so if you could lock a Jamming Tower into play, the Drifloons and Screamtail aren't doing much, but I couldn't really get a gauge on how many stadium they would end up playing, so I opted to go for the option to just take a 2 price turn. You knock out the Drifloon or the Screamtail or whatever they have the damage and the big charm on, and then knock out whatever they promote. It was also just better universally across the board in other matchups. So that's why I went with Lost Vacuum over Jamming Tower. But rounded off, got the energy. 6 grass felt perfectly fine. I know some decks play 7. Never felt the need for a 7. 6 felt perfectly fine. And then you have a 3-3 split of fighting and like lightning. Not much else to say there. You have a lot of recovery to reuse them. You have a lot of ways to get them out of the deck. This felt perfect. I don't have the desire to change it. So on to what this deck struggles with. It struggles with 1 prizers, which this type of deck has always struggled with. You kind of just want to take multi-prize knockouts. You go fast, go boom. 1 prizers can kind of throw that off. That being said, you are decent against Lost Box because most of your stuff has really big HP. And the Switch Carts, again, like I mentioned earlier. And this, Sandy Shocks. This card makes your Lost Box matchup significantly better. One of my losses was to Baxcalibur. Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, which I think is fine, except for the one that I lost to played a Kyogre, the one that lets you return energy to your hand and snipe something for 180. So on the turn that I knocked out a Chien-Pao and went down to 2 prizes, his whole board was nothing but 1 prizers, drops the Kyogre, snipes off Squawkabilly, he goes down to 2 prizes, I can't take 2 prizes because there's no 2 prizes on his board, and then on the next turn he just benches Chen Pao and wins the game. That was rough. And then this deck also, my second loss was to the Mirror, which he won the coin flip, he went second. It's literally all it was. He went second first game, I went second game, he went second third game. That's the matchup. But enough rambling about, you know, my poor NAIC run. I'm going to jump into a game with this, and we'll see how it goes. This is my nickname for the deck, Long Neck Doofus, because I did not know Raging Bolt's name until the card came out. I don't play the DLCs, I just see pictures. We'll see what we're up against. I don't know what to expect when it comes to ladder. I've hit some wacky stuff. So I'm going first, which is kind of rough. Like I said, this deck generally just wants to go second. And we're starting with a mulligan. We're both starting with a mulligan. This isn't too bad. This could be Lost Ball. The Ultra Ball throws me off. I want to know what this card is. This is not giving me much information. This is what's kind of throwing me off. At first I was thinking Excalibur, but this throws me off. So we'll just have to see. I'm going first anyways. There's a Palkia. So we do have a turn 1 Squawkabilly. I'm going to bench these two. Let's thin. We got Squawk in there, which is good. Looks like Greninja is prized. Looks like 1 Raging Bolt is prized. And we got all our teal masks. I know I have a Sada in hand. All my Sadas are there. I have a boss in hand, correct? Yes, I have a boss. So all my boss, all my supporters are there. I have all my energy retrievals. My prime catcher's there. Looks like 1 grass energy is prized, but we should be chilling. So I'll just ditch this because we're going to be discarding it regardless. I'm going to grab these because I want them in the discard pile for Sada. The reason I'm not grabbing grass is because I would teal dance and then I'd draw into things that I might not want to discard with Squawkabilly. So we're just going to attach. Yeah, we'll attach here for turn, and then I'm going to Squawk and Seize. Great. That's perfectly okay with me. Now we can teal dance. Got another Sada. We can teal dance number 2. And I'd say this is so far pretty good first turn. Nothing else I really need to do this turn, so I can just pass. And maybe we'll get an idea of what I'm actually playing against. So he's got Greninja. Which if I was playing anything else, I probably would be scared of Moonlight Shuriken because Palkia V-Star, I can bring it out of nowhere. But my guess is that we're playing against a Chen Pao list that had Jet Energy. And we're right. Depending on how he sets up here, I might actually just want to target the Frigivax. But also, if I can just get a 2-prize knockout on the Palkia, that can be pretty good. You kind of just go 2-2-2. rule of the region is searching for a stadium. Lake of Acuity. It tells me the hand's not that great. I'm going to get another Raging Bolt because I want to targets for Sada. We are going to... I'm going to Sada first. Just see what I draw. Because if I draw Heavy Ball, I can get Greninja. I don't. But I get the Switch card, which is really nice. We can Nest Ball. I'm going to preemptively grab a bundle. I'm just going to bench it. It can come in useful. We can attach here. Play the Switch card. Save the Grass Energy. And right here, I'm honestly I'm just going to go for the... I'm probably going to go for the Frigibax, honestly. But if I did that and he attacks with a Palkia V-Star, my bench is full, his bench is full, Raging Bolt's going down. So I think I kind of just want to kill the Palkia V-Star here. Or the Palkia V. Which, yep, seems good to me. We're going to Bellowing Thunder. You got to be conscious of where I discard the energy from. Because if I can probably anticipate this getting knocked out if he sets up Excalibur and a Chen Pao. But I think I'm just going to go one from each and just say he doesn't have it. It is kind of annoying. We got to go with 4, but that's what it is. There's our Greninja. That'll be great. Now I can Hyper Blower if I need to, and that frees up the bench space, and then I can bench Greninja. Which Greninja is great to just kind of keep your deck drawing. So I have 2 grass in the discard pile. I can enter if I didn't have Greninja, I could energy retrieval, draw 2 with each, or draw 1 with each Ogerpon. That's drawing 2, or I could draw 3 by discarding 1 with concealed cards. There's the Chen Pao. I always forget that there was this promo. It's kind of nice how this kind of ends up being irrelevant because you are doing 240 damage. Or you have to discard 4 to kill Chen Pao anyways, so doesn't really matter. We'll see what he goes after here. He's gonna go after an Ogerpon. Makes sense. Easier for him to KO, and also wipes a form of acceleration off my board. Considering he doesn't have another Frigibax down, if he discards all the energy he has in play to take a knockout right now, I probably want to just target the lone Frigibax. The Palkia is gone, so he's not going to have Palkia V-Star's V-Star ability. And with no energy on board, if I'm able to KO this, he's not attacking. Nothing's accelerating energy. But unfortunately, whiffs the attack, or whiffs the knockout. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to just play this. To be honest, if I hit heads, I might just take out the Lumineon. Because like I said, two more 2-prize knockouts. The only reason I'd want the Lumineon is because Lumineon can get itself off the board as to where Chen Pao cannot. So if we hit heads, we'll see. Card never hits heads. Told you, I hate this card. What we are going to now do here is... we will energy retrieval. I don't want a Hyper Blower right now, so I'm not going to. I want to just knock out the Chen Pao and take the 2 prizes. Luckily, I have the switch card to move the Ogerpon too. We will go with Teal Dance. And then Teal Dance number 2. we will switch cart, bring up our Raging Bolt, attach here for turn. I have 2 Sada. So right here, I actually don't need 2 Sada. I can save it. I'm down 2. I don't have Pal Pad. I might as well not use it if I don't have to, right? Could this come back to bite me? Probably. But we're just conserving resources here. So I am going to go Bellowing Thunder, discard all my energy in play. It shouldn't be too hard to set up another attack next turn. I'm drawing 2 prizes here, so I think we're chilling. I didn't play the Pokestop because I don't want to give them Pokestop. Pokestop is just more search for them. AKA hit them superior energy retrieval, which I don't want. The cool thing here is that if they do attack with Luminion, they're not taking a knockout. Unless they can bring up the Ogre Palm that they damage, which I'm fine with. Morty's Convict. I like this card. I know it's not great in a lot of decks, but I don't know. I really like this card. He just drew a lot of cards. We do still have access to Prime Catcher too. So if I'm able to find that, I could probably close out the game on a KO and the Luminion. There's the Chien-Pao. It might take a knockout. I think we got this one in the bag, boys. It could suck if we get Iono'd here. But he played Morty's Conviction, so we can't get Iono'd, which is nice, because that's why I held on to the Professor Sada. Another thing that's nice, he's going to knock out the Raging Bolt here. Luckily, I have another one in my hand, which means Sada just becomes 2 more energy in play. Nothing feels worse than having to play Professor Sada and only accelerating 1 energy. The reason he's super colding here is just hoping that I don't have a knockout. He could discard all the energy from the bench and still have an attack set up for next turn, which makes him immune from me targeting the Baxcalibur. We're going to push the Raging Bolt up. Unless we get super unlucky, we should have game here. So we're just going to start Professor Sada Vitality. I have 3 fighting in the deck, so there's a good chance I could draw into 1 while I only have 2 lightning here. So I'm going to attach lightning to the active. We'll attach fighting to the bench. Then I will... How do I go about this? I'm going to rip the Pokestop. Just give me more options. Gets me Ultra Ball. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but I want to Greninja right now. And I have Prime Catcher, so moving the Chien-Pao doesn't matter because Luminion's still there for me to target. I'm going to Hyper Blower. Right now, I'm thinning the deck. I want to find... I still have 3 Earthen Vessels, which I need to hit. we will bench the Greninja. And I will... I think my best bet here is to concealed cards. I could put energy back in and hope to draw into them, like the fighting energy. I do still have 2 energy retrieval as well. So I think I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna concealed cards. And there is the vessel. Let's be safe just in case my last 2 energy or my fighting energy. We'll put that in. And I will vessel. Grabbing... we do not need this. I will teal dance number 1. There's another vessel. Beautiful. Teal dance number 2. So I'm going to need a pivot. I can attach here for turn. I'm going to need a pivot to retreat, but I only need 3 energy to knock out Luminion, which is perfect. I'm going to push up Teal Mask, pay its retreat, put my boy back up, and then we will Bellowing Thunder for our last 2 prizes. Not going to waste much time. That's a GG. So as you can see, the deck, it's very linear, very straightforward, very aggressive. Perfect to pick up if you are newer to the game and just want to get an idea of like mechanics. I think this deck has a very low skill ceiling, a very easy, it's an easy barrier of entry. Yeah, give it a shot. Try it out yourself if you haven't. A lot of people probably have. Very popular deck right now. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This is primehgssTCG, and I'll see you guys later.